Sri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Sai SATCHARITRA, an Insight, Episode 215. My humble prostrations at the lotus feet of our Sadguru Sai. By the divine grace of Sai, an attempt has been made to translate the gist of the divine discourse of Sri Ramanathan brother telecasted in Sai TV. This is purely done to share the glory of Sai and his divine teachings with more insight to the aspirants. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurur Sakshat Parabrahmam, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Dear devotees, we have been heeding to the Leela related to Dr. Mulke. In the previous episode, we came to know that while Dr. Mulke was performing a cesarean, the fluid in the tissue of the patient's stomach splashed on his eye and began to irritate his eyes and left his eyes swollen, red and watery. When he consulted few of his doctor friends, they examined his eyes and suggested to consult an ophthalmologist at Nasik. Devotees, until now, Sri Sainath made Dr. Mulke to witness his supreme power by healing his nephew, then another testimony by appearing in Dr. Mulke's dream vision and restoring his health, again giving him a divine call to come for his darshan. All these incidences did make Dr. Mulke ponder upon Sri Sai Maharaj, but his mind was wavering and played tricks against his desire to have Sri Sai Maharaj's darshan. So he dropped out his plan to visit Shirdi. This recalls a beautiful connection about Kunti Devi, says Ramanathan brother. Kunti Devi prayed to Lord Sri Krishna thus: Krishna, give me sufferings and keep me ever in pain, that I would always remember you and worship you ever. Because people remember God only when they are in trouble. This is the nature of human mind. Probably Dr. Mulke's tendency is also like this. Hence, Sri Sai Maharaj is giving another challenge to draw Dr. Mulke closer to him. Dr. Mulke's eye irritation and pain was excruciating. He came to Nasik and consulted an eye specialist to cure his eyes. The eye doctor rebuked Dr. Mulke for his negligence and said, the fluid is extremely poisonous and the eye, being the most sensitive organ, has been greatly affected. Being a doctor, you should have taken sufficient care to protect your eyes before performing the surgery. The nerves in your eyes are infected. There is greater chance of losing your eyesight. Dr. Mulke was greatly distressed hearing the comments of the eye specialist. He was all alone as his wife had gone to her parents' home and was pondering deeply on the feedback given by the eye specialist and resolved to pray to Sri Sai Baba for aid. He fervently prayed to Sri Sai Maharaj thus: Baba, the doctor says I might lose my vision. Please shower your mercy upon me and save me from this plight. Protect me from becoming blind. Then I shall certainly come for your darshan. From the moment the doctor sought for Sri Sai Maharaj's grace, the swelling in the eyes began to subside. Pain reduced, and the very next day his eyes became normal. Immediately he went to the eye specialist to get it examined. The doctor was pleasantly shocked. He couldn't believe that Dr. Mulke's eyes got cured, because this is unfeasible. So the eye doctor asked Dr. Mulke what the secret behind this miraculous cure was. Hearing this, Dr. Mulke's faith on Sri Sai Maharaj got rooted up in his heart. Dr. Mulke wanted to fulfill his vow, so contacted his wife and said, "Come home immediately. Let's both go to Shirdi for Sri Sai Baba's darshan." Both husband and wife reached up to Manmad by train. Now they were seated in Manmad railway station to board the train to Shirdi. At that juncture, a rail booking clerk was making casual enquiries with Dr. Mulke. Hemat Panji mentions that the clerk belongs to the Deshastha Brahmin caste. This clerk learned from Dr. Mulke that they are heading towards Shirdi for Sri Sai Maharaj's darshan. Immediately, the clerk began to speak ill of Sri Sai Baba's personality. He even said that Sri Sai Baba's attitude towards ladies is disagreeable. Dr. Mulke, who had just gained faith upon Sri Sai Baba, lost his trust and again dropped his plan to go to Shirdi. Instead of proceeding to Shirdi, they boarded their train to Mumbai and went to his brother's home. Dr. Mulke's sister-in-law inquired if he went to Shirdi for Sri Sai Maharaj's darshan and was upset with him for postponing his plans. Dr. Mulke revered his sister-in-law as that of his mother. So he narrated all the events that happened until his recent cancellation of Shirdi trip. Listening to this, she chided him for believing a trespasser and forgetting the astounding experience bestowed by Sri Sai Maharaj upon him. She gave her words of wisdom and shared the incredible divine sport of Sri Sai Maharaj that were experienced by various devotees. Dr. Mulke and his wife realized their stupidity and regretted for dropping their visit. Dr. Mulke's sister-in-law advised them to go to Shirdi at the earliest, as that would bestow greater benefits upon them. During the month of March in the year 1917, Dr. Mulke and his wife came to Shirdi and went to Dwarakamai for darshan. He had been an atheist and not familiar with the ambience in the mosque. He thinks this fakir doesn't even seem to be illiterate, but the queue is so long and he is crowded with so many devotees all the time. While Dr. Mulke was getting closer for darshan, Sri Sai Maharaj spoke in parables. It's a common practice of Sri Sai Maharaj to narrate the incidences that occurred in a person's life in parables. This will be intelligible only to the concerned person, and for others they will remain as illogical statements. But Dr. Mulke caught the purport of the various incidences that Sri Sai Maharaj mentioned as that of a story. He realized that Sri Sai Maharaj is omnipotent and omnipresent. Nothing is unveiled to him. He is the inner ruler of all. Dr. Mulke's suspicious thoughts got uprooted in no time. From then on, Dr. Mulke became a staunch devotee of Sri Sai Maharaj. Sri Sai Maharaj, through his parables, reflected the thoughts of the Deshastha Brahmin, that is, the rail booking clerk. These words were an eye-opener for Dr. Mulke. He quickly caught the implication of the statements of Sri Sai and wondered how the conversation that happened at Manmad station was being crystal clear to Sri Sai Maharaj seated inside Dwarakamai at Shirdi. This darshan of Dr. Mulke brought greater transformation in his life. The one who was an atheist turned to be the most religious person. Both husband and wife experienced extreme peace and eternal joy during their first darshan of Sri Sai Baba. Dr. Mulke was taking Sri Sai Maharaj's blessings before leaving Shirdi, and Sri Sai Baba blessed him thus: "Go, remain happy. Allah will bless you," and added, "You do the reading of Holy Scripture Jnaneshwari, and once you reach home, you will find an envelope on your table, and that would be your transfer order to Bijapur." What a significant note for Dr. Mulke, which becomes a testimony for his faith on Sri Sai Maharaj. The words of Sri Sai Maharaj were so clear and specific, as though the transfer order was issued by him. Sri Sai Maharaj didn't foretell what would happen in the future. Instead, he skillfully organized the events and transpired them as per his will. The couple were excited and wanted to reach home quickly to verify this. Sri Sai Maharaj had given Dr. Mulke twin blessings during this March 1917 visit. First was to instruct him to do Parayan of Sri Jnaneshwari. Sri Jnaneshwari is a Marathi commentary of Sant Jnaneshwar on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Whereas Dr. Mulke cannot read or write Marathi language. But when Sadguru Sri Sai Maharaj chooses a specific scripture for a devotee and asserts him to do the reading of it, then that turns to be an initiation to the devotee. What an incredible blessing to Dr. Mulke. This helped him to progress spiritually. Eventually, Dr. Mulke learned Marathi alphabets and began to read the Holy Scripture. After many years, when Pujya Sri Narasimha Swamiji interviewed him during December 1937, Dr. Mulke said every year he did Saptaha Parayanam of Sri Jnaneshwari. Devotees, Sri Sai Maharaj attained Mahasamadhi during the year 1918. So almost for 19 years, that is from 1917, Dr. Mulke did the Saptaha Parayanam every year. This is another evidence to the fact that Dr. Mulke had become an ardent devotee of Sri Sai Maharaj, who sincerely adhered to the advice given by Sri Sai Baba. Secondly, Dr. Mulke was not happy to reside in the congested city like Mumbai. He wanted to move to some remote village. Now, wonder of wonder, he has been transferred to Bijapur, which is in the Karnataka state, and the spoken language in this city is Kannada, which was his mother tongue, and Bijapur was not as crowded as Mumbai. Upon reaching home, Dr. Mulke found the envelope on the table, and as indicated by Sri Sai Maharaj, the transfer order was for Bijapur coupled with promotion. Dr. Mulke and his wife were extremely happy. Every word pronounced by Sri Sai Maharaj came real. Thus, the faith of Dr. Mulke and his wife increased in multifold. During the World War I, an order was passed by the British government stating that the physicians were supposed to provide their medical services in the army camps. Subsequently, Dr. Mulke was sent from Bijapur to serve the army, and on completion of which he was posted at Cuttack. In fact, Pujya Sri Narasimha Swamiji went to the state of Orissa and interviewed Dr. Mulke at Cuttack. After narrating the experiences of Dr. Mulke, Hemat Pandji continues to expound the Leela related to Dr. Pillai. Dr. Pillai was an ardent devotee and very humble devotee of Sri Sai Maharaj. His full name was Dr. Chidambaram Pillai, and Sri Sai Baba would address him lovingly as Bhav. Bhav means brother. How blessed he must be to hear Sri Sai Maharaj call him as brother. At times, he was even called as Andache Pillai by Sri Sai Baba. Anda means egg, and Andache Pillai sounds like son of an egg. But why did Sri Sai Maharaj give this nickname to Dr. Pillai? What was the mystery behind this? None knew. It is inevitable to know the association that existed between Sri Sai Baba and Dr. Pillai. Sri Sai Maharaj will not take a decision without discussing with Dr. Pillai, be it a small or big, says Hemat Pandji. Also, when we try to visualize the scenes of Dwarakamayi a century ago through our mind's eye, we can recall that Sri Sai Maharaj would be seated in the masjid by placing his left hand on the wooden railing. with his left leg folded and right leg outstretched. This used to be the usual sitting posture of Sri Sai Baba, and Dr. Pillai would be seated on the left side of this wooden railing, while to the right Bade Baba will sit. Thus, it was very convenient for Sri Sai Maharaj to discuss with Dr. Pillai on all subjects. Also, every time Sri Sai Baba lighted the chillam, it was lovingly handed over to Dr. Pillai. After he takes the first puff, then Sri Sai Maharaj would smoke. At various instances, Sri Sai Baba had explicitly mentioned that Dr. Pillai is a good-natured person, hence it is better to consult with him in all matters. Dr. Pillai is also a medical physician, just like Dr. Mulke, and was from Nagpur. As we are aware, Babu Saheb Bhuti, the most fervent devotee of Sri Sai Maharaj, millionaire of Nagpur, was the one who built the Samadhi temple of Sri Sai Maharaj at Shirdi, spending almost 1 lakh rupees, was a close acquaintance of Dr. Pillai, as they both were from the same place. Dr. Pillai was affluent and was closely associated with many devotees of Sri Sai Maharaj who were wealthy and prominent in the society. To mention, Dr. Ganpat Rao from Shinde was also a sincere devotee of Sri Sai Maharaj. We will be listening to the services he performed to Sri Sai Maharaj in the later episodes. This Dr. Ganpat Rao was also a friend of Dr. Pillai. Next is Dr. Pillai's younger brother by name Chinnaswamy Pillai was residing in Gorakhpur. The names are sounding like the ones commonly used in Tamil Nadu. This makes us to guess that maybe the ancestors of Dr. Chidambaram Pillai might have migrated to Maharashtra and got settled there many years back. We couldn't collect any evidence to this guess, as no clues are left behind even by Pujya Sri Narasimha Swamiji, who interviewed them personally. Moreover, Dr. Pillai was very fluent in speaking Marathi. He was kind-hearted and provided free services to all the devotees of Sri Sai Baba. So Dr. Pillai always sat to the left side of Sri Sai Maharaj at Dwarakamai, and to his right Shyamrao Jekar in the absence of Bade Baba. Shyamrao Jekar was the most renowned artist who painted the most stunning and realism portrait of Sri Sai Maharaj that adorns the throne of Dwarakamai and is being worshipped by millions of devotees at Shirdi even to this date. Once, while Pillai and Shyamrao Jekar were seated on either side of Sri Sai Maharaj, the villagers were chasing a street dog with staff in their hands, as the dog had rabies and bit many. So people were determined to kill that. The dog, a 5-sensed creature, and also was mad, but it decided to take refuge at the holy feet of Sri Sai Maharaj. So it ran and stood behind Sri Sai Baba. How did the dog get saved, and what kind of blessings did Sri Sai Maharaj shower upon Dr. Pillai can be heeded in the coming episode. Bo to Sri Sai, peace be to all. Om Sai Ram.